us, which has made us pause, stop, and think and go internally. This beautiful process was something that nobody thought would ever happen. Nature has pressed the reset button, but is the leader within you pressing that reset button as well? Are you in reset mode now? Are you somebody who's going to go ahead and alter your very thought process? These are questions that are being asked amongst conversations, because one basic thing is when somebody actually says, "How are you today?" they genuinely mean, "How are you?" It's not a run-of-the-mill question just to break ice. In such a beautiful world, welcome each one of you here for the International Coaching Week. When we are going to set out on this journey for the week, there is one thing that we need to do at this point, just remembering those people who lost their lives in COVID-19. So a request for a 10-second silence that all of us will observe in memory of those we lost in COVID-19. Thank you, and gratitude to all the frontline warriors from the different fields who are making our lives comfortable and making sure that our lives are carrying on, at least to an extent, with a smoothness that we did not think this time would even have. Opening this beautiful International Coaching Week is ICF Bengaluru, and we are proud to say that. Sitting right there is our representative, Mr. M.G. Raghuraman. We call MG for short, the president of ICF Bangalore chapter, Bengaluru chapter, who will be formally welcoming all of you and telling you about what ICF is all about. MG, over to you.
Hello and namaste. So it's my privilege and honor as the president of the ICF Bengaluru chapter to welcome you once again. In these days of social distancing, let us start with giving each other a warm virtual hug. Can I see the virtual hug and a handshake? I'm actually truly excited by the overwhelming response and participation for the International Coaching Week. Big thanks to all of you. Let me begin with a small story. In the place where my daughter lives in the US, there is a geriatric ward of several elderly men. Each of them unique in their own way, many of them grumpy. The nurses there, they really don't enjoy working. They don't enjoy the job. They would like to avoid spending any time with these elderly men. But there was this one nurse who took an opposite tack in dealing with these people. She used to spend a lot of time joking, talking, laughing with them, besides administering the regular routine medical care. And remember, these elderly people had very, very few visitors and virtually nobody else to talk to. So one day, one of these elderly gentlemen who had a wicked sense of humor called this nurse to his bedside and whispered a question. What do you want to be remembered for after you die? The nurse was taken aback and initially thought this old man has gone berserk, or maybe he's depressed, or perhaps has got some problem with his breathing or whatever. The old man explained, no, look here, it's a very simple question. Do you want to be remembered for your caring, for your love that you give, you help others, or for the money that you're going to make, the cars, the houses, and the wealth that you're going to accumulate in your medical career? Now, this nurse did feel very uncomfortable because she did not have an answer right away, let alone the right answer. This question was a life-changing question for this young nurse. These and such powerful questions that you would not dare to ask yourself jolt you out of your comfort zone, give you new perspectives. And that's what coaching is about, listening and thought-provoking questions. which can change people's lives. Now coming to ICF, it's a body of volunteer coaches, 35,000 coaches worldwide, and has got a singular mission of leading the global advancement of the coaching profession. The vision of ICF is even exciting, where coaching becomes an integral part of every thriving society, and each ICF member represents the highest quality, the gold standard of coaching. That's the ICF vision and mission. And the definition of ICF, of coaching itself, has always inspired me. ICF defines coaching as a partnership with clients in a thought-provoking and a creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. The core belief of ICF is two. One, all people, clients, are experts in their own sphere of work and life. And all people and clients are creative, resourceful, and whole. So what does the coach do? The coach only needs to show them the mirror to let them know who they are. Thus, a coach can help people dig deep into themselves and mine those golden nuggets, which can change their lives. And this week, the ICW, which is aimed at celebrating this power of coaching, aims to popularize coaching. And both today and the rest of the week, we will journey with you on an enriching experience of what coaching is about and how it can benefit all of us. In these days of lockdown, where you cannot go outside, just as Rashmi was trying to tell you in the beginning, let us experience coaching and go inside. Welcome once again to the ICW. Thank you.
Thank you, MG. That was completely MG style for each one of you. Dramatic, but then beautiful. A storyteller, interesting person to talk to. Now, what we're going to have next are part of the questions that I asked you right at the beginning. What is coaching? How is it different from counseling? Who is a credentialed coach? And how is the journey to being one yourself? And who's going to do it for us? Well, a credentialed coach from the ICF, Vivek, has been coaching senior corporate clients, facilitating webinars, workshops on various subjects. He provides custom-made solutions for safety and security, emergency and critical incident response management in schools. As a coach trainer, he helps people set goals, analyze their own strengths and weaknesses to achieve personal growth. He also, additionally, is a veteran of the Indian Army. So saluting you, Vivek, and over to you to take us through the presentation.
Thank you, Rashmi. Good evening, ladies. Good evening, gentlemen. In the next 10 minutes or so, I shall brief you on what coaching is all about. May I request you to park your questions till the end. I'll just wait for the slides to come on. Vasu, could you just put on the slide, the screen sharing for me? Thank you. Yeah. When it comes to people development and care, there are many interventions that we talk about. The common ones being training, counseling, consulting, mentoring, and coaching. So let's understand the key differences between these various terminologies. Training is something you're all aware of. However, I shall highlight a few aspects here. For example, the government passes a regulation that requires compliance by the organization. Training on the rules of the regulation needs to be imparted to the employees to understand the regulations and apply it. A case in point was the imposition of the GST recently. A trainer would be brought in, would carry out training sessions by giving instructions, having interactive sessions, and also practice with the aim of imparting knowledge and skills. This is what training is all about. Now let's look at counseling. Counseling may be required for a person depicting dysfunctional behavior. The process that occurs is that the client and the counselor sit together and explore the various difficulties that the client may be having. For example, stressful or emotional feelings of the client. This process delves into the past and looks at various issues. Now, a counselor may give advice or he may recommend therapy depending on what the case may be. Now let's look at consulting. Consulting is another intervention that is used. For example, when an organization decides to go in for an organizational policy change. For example, it could be a new purchase policy. A consultant could be brought in an advisory capacity. The consultant would be a subject matter expert with a deep understanding of the industry, and he could render advice on the best practices to be followed. Let's look at mentoring now. For example, when you have a lateral entry, that is, a person from another organization within the industry or from outside is inducted into the organization. This person would be having the requisite experience. A member who is sufficiently senior could be assigned to see this new entrant to oversee the transition. Though the newcomer is not a typical novice and left to himself, he could do the job. A mentorship program could fast forward the entire process and also ensure that this new entrant turns into a high performer. Now, a mentor may share with a mentee information about his own career path. He might as well provide guidance, motivation, emotional support, and role modeling. And then comes coaching. Strangely, these words, training, counseling, consulting, mentoring, all these are used interchangeably with coaching. A probable cause could be that coaching is loosely associated with IIT coaching or the NEET coaching or sports coaching in our country, which are purely instruction based. Therefore, maybe it is assumed that managerial coaching is also instruction based. So let's look slightly deeper into this. All of us broadly operate on two paradigms. The thinking paradigm, which involves coming out with the thoughts and ideas for action, and the execution paradigm, putting these thoughts into action. I want you to look at this diagram. What strikes you straight here? If you can see for yourself, the trainer, counselor, consultant, mentor, they do the thinking. They pass the instructions to the client and the client executes. This entire process is execution centric. So now let's look at coaching. The International Coaching Federation's definition of coaching, as already brought out by the president, is as given: partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. Let's look at the keywords here. Partnering with clients. This means working with the client, facilitating the conversation till the client gets to the outcome that he or she had decided for himself or herself. There's a key difference here between training and coaching. For example, in training, after the 8 hours or 8-day training, the job is over. For coaching, the process carries on till the client attains his goal. What is thought-provoking and creative process? The entire process is so designed that the client is asked powerful questions by the coach, thereby leading to a thought-provoking and creative process. What it essentially means is that the client is moved up to a higher level of thinking, and he is able to see solutions, find solutions for himself. And therein lies the next, that how individuals maximize their personal and professional potential. What this essentially means is that there is a paradigm shift from the execution to the thinking. Please see this diagram here. A client explains whatever his objective or whatever his challenges are to the coach. The coach asks powerful questions. The client thinks and executes, and this process carries on. Here, the client thinks and executes. Hence, coaching is a very powerful process. In addition, the onus of responsibility with the client is very high. This also gives out the third distinction between other methods of intervention and coaching. At no point of time is any solution, that is, no solutions, no advice, no directions, no instructions are given by the coach to the client. Today, if you Google search and ask for coaches in India, you will probably get approximately 20 crore hits. But how many of them are accredited? Very few are. We, as International Coaching Federation accredited coaches, undergo a rigorous accreditation program. Not only is a very high level of expertise required to be a coach, the coach has to work on their own selves and develop micro skills. The ICF is internationally acknowledged as a gold standard in coaching, and I'll just list out a few of the criteria that is required to become a coach. 60 hours plus training, 100 hours plus coaching experience, common knowledge test, and certification. So this is the start point. Coaching, unlike other interventions, is skill agnostic. It explores mindsets. It makes a person reflect and look inwards. As coaches come after their certification, they also bring a lot of expertise. And that is the reason why you find behavioral coaches, leadership coaches, people development coaches, and so on and so forth. As part of people and leadership development, coaching is the future. I would like to leave a thought with you. Would you like someone to give you instructions, or would you like to think solutions for yourself? After this, we have a live coaching session where a coach will have a coaching session with a coachee, and I want you to reflect on whatever I've told you and see how the coach elevates the coachee to a high level of thinking. We also have a poll, and I would like you to respond to it based on what I have just now spoken to you about coaching. Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. Thank you. That was really, really clear about understanding, though the journey is a long one for us coaches. But then for those of you who did not bring your notebook and paper out, the mistake is yours. In a webinar and today, virtual sessions are the new normal. So it's very important to have your pen and paper, distractions off, as minimal as possible, making sure that you're fully focused. So we have our first poll. Kindly submit. Let us find out, what did you get to understand about coaching? So where do you think coaching helps a person most? Unlocks potential, creates clarity of purpose, defines a clear roadmap for improvement, motivates and energizes to action, creates new solution options.
I can say our participants are very, very active. I can see the number moving like anything.
Okay, so we'll find out what the percentages are in a while. And in keeping with the authentic self that we all are in today, our live session between coach and client is also something which is authentic. The client and the coach haven't met before other than a small chemistry meeting. So here goes. Yes, you're all very, very good listeners. 56% is on unlocks potential, 11% on creates clarity of purpose, 13 on defines a clear roadmap, 11 again on motivates and energizes to action, and 8% on creates new solution. Thank you very much. And like I said, we are absolutely authentic in this coaching process that you're going to watch. Pankaj, a business coach, will be coaching his client, Nandini. So over to the coach and the client. Make sure you make your notes because your questions can go into the Q&A. Keep parking them. We will address them towards the end.
Thank you, Rashmi. And good evening to the audience and happy International Coaching Week to my coach colleagues. And welcome to everybody else. And as Rashmi has introduced, my name is Pankaj Dikshit. I am a coach for about 7-8 years. And before that, I was in corporate for about 25 years. Nandini, I guess, Nandini, you can also introduce yourself in 30 seconds for the audience, and then we can start.
Sure. Thanks, Pankaj. I'm Nandini. I'm trying to be certified for ACC, and I'm working on it for the past year now. So I'm today going to be Pankaj's coachee to learn from him on how to be a better coach. Thank you, Pankaj.
Wonderful. So Nandini, now you can ignore all the audience, and the next 20 or 25 minutes will be between you and me. As you know, since you are doing coaching, so you know confidentiality is one of the basic tenets of any coaching session. So I really appreciate you to come forward to be coached in front of over 350 people. It needs courage. I can assure you confidentiality from my side, and I am assuming, and I'm hoping, and I'm requesting all the audiences also to whatever they hear in today's session, because it's a real life session. Whatever they hear in this coaching session, just keep it to themselves. There is no need to discuss outside this forum. Okay, with that, Nandini, let's start. Okay, let's start with what do you find good today in attending to this session?
So the fact that we are having to get to watch live sessions and listen to wonderful coaches like yourself who've been practicing for so many years, I think that's going to be a wonderful experience. And this experience we're going to get for the next whole week. So we are going to learn a lot on how to handle the different situations across different coaching personalities and situations. So that is something I'm looking forward to through this week and today.
Yeah, and excited. I am excited.
Yes, I am too.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so what is the situation you want to bring today?
Okay, so one, what do you say, potential that I would like you to get me out of myself is this particular situation I'm facing from quite a few days now. So I've been in the HR industry HR field for almost 20 plus years now. So I have been working towards trying to get the HR Professional of the Year award. So the current company that I work for, I was the first employee, and I've worked up in this company through various promotions and set up all the policies, procedures, and every particular SOP that is in place by myself and my team. So I want to know, I'm at a dead end right now. How do I reach that position where I can become the HR Professional of the Year? How does somebody get that award? So I'm unable to make that out.
Okay. So your objective is to achieve that award, the HR Professional of the Year.
That's right. Yes.
And this is what you want to achieve in what is the timeline in which you want to achieve this?
Preferably before end of 2020, probably by December 2020 at least.
Okay. Okay, very good. So what would be a wonderful outcome of today's session? We have about 25 minutes or 20 minutes or 25 minutes. What would be a outcome which would delight you of this session?
So a plan that I can set in place on how to reach there would be like the perfect outcome I look forward to.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Let's work towards that. What does a plan mean to you?
Basically, a plan means what is it that I'm supposed to do across stages for me to reach there? Like, what is the next immediate thing I have to work towards to achieve my target of becoming best HR professional? What are the different stages out there? Whom am I supposed to meet? What am I supposed to do? This is a plan for me.
Okay, good. So I think you have some idea of the plan. So you want to have a plan. I'm saying if complete plan or whatever your ideal plan or your desired plan is, where are you? If I say on a scale from 1 to 10, if 10 is a completed plan, where are you today?
Personally, I feel I might be at 5 because I do attend a lot of webinars, conferences where HR professionals speak. And sometimes I feel the jargon they use, probably I'm not familiar with it. And then when I go back and check, it is something I'm already doing with probably a new name to it. So I really don't know what is the unconscious state. What is it that I don't know? So that is the state I'm in right now, which is why I rate myself 5.
Yeah, but 5 is good. 5 is halfway mark. So very good.
Yes.
Congratulations. What makes it 5? I'm saying not 4 or 3. How have you come to 5?
Like I already told you, I'm part of many HR groups, WhatsApp groups, where people discuss a lot. So somewhere along the way, I feel many of the things that they're talking about, it's already part of what we do in our company, something we have introduced. So I think the attrition rate in our company is quite low, thanks to our HR policies. So somewhere along the way, I think we've done a good job, which is why I rate myself midway 5.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I don't think the knowledge level and the execution we are doing in our company wouldn't be as good as what we are seeing it today. And I would say good from my personal perspective and the feedback that I get from my management.
Okay, so you have been finding out, discovering, attending webinars and talking to the people about this award which you want.
That's right. Yes.
And that's why
I wouldn't talk about the award. I would more talk about what the HR practices that they follow or the best practices. So that is what generally I talk about, not about the award. But I do see a lot of people get this award. So I would like to see myself there someday.
Okay. So how long you have been thinking about getting this award?
For almost a couple of years now.
Oh, a couple of years. So for quite some time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And what have you done so far about this?
So I've identified areas where I'm not very familiar with regards to the HR world. So I've tried to enhance my knowledge in those areas. I've tried to bring in policies which makes an employee happy and see we've already charted our path where we want to get our company on the best company to work for. So for that, the HR policies have to be great. So we are like just starting out there. So these are some areas where I'm working with, and I assume if you're part of a company which tries to become a best company to work for, you're a pretty good professional who's aware of what's happening in the world. So that is my first path, is the step that I've taken there.
And what else?
And I'm trying to see on Twitter and LinkedIn areas where HRs get nominated as, the most recognized HR professional for their tweets. I try to follow them and see what kind of tweets they're posting. What is it that they do? How many followers do they have? And is followers really a matter or a criteria for being chosen for the HR professional of the year? So these are some of the things that I'm already working on.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so you're doing, you are, looks like you're very seriously interested since you're working for 2 years. So why is it so important for you to win this award?
So this has nothing to do with me professionally, because I'm not looking at changing jobs. I'm happy where I am. But I think it's like personal satisfaction that in this long journey that I've had with HR, there is some recognition for me, for myself. It doesn't have to, be highlighted anywhere. Doesn't have to come on my resume, but I give some credit to myself, saying that across the 20 years that I've worked for HR, there is something I did as becoming the HR professional of the year. Somewhere somebody is recognizing me.
Right. So and
beyond my company, that is.
Good. And this will give you some kind of self respect or some kind of assurance of your capability. What is it? What
assurance, I would say.
Assurance, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let me come back to if this is the most important thing, like self assurance is what you are looking for, or is there anything else?
I think for now, I can only work with self-assurance, because self-respect has never been a problem. Confidence has never been a problem. So I think it's self-assurance somewhere. I have never worked in big companies where there are big HR systems and been exposed to it. So whatever systems I've seen, I've created it myself with smaller companies and worked there. So I think somewhere I need that assurance that, yeah, I'm good in doing what I'm doing.
Okay. So let's get a little deeper into this self-assurance. What does it mean to you, self-assurance? And irrespective of the award or no award, in general, what does it mean to you?
It basically means I'm good in my profession. I'm good in what I'm doing, and I know my stuff. That's what it means to me. That what I'm doing for my company is good for the employees who are working there. Okay. And good for the company which recognized me and brought me to where I am. I had HR for India for the company.
Okay. So feeling good about what you are doing, and maybe
absolutely,
is recognition also part of recognition by others is also part of your self-assurance, or
possibly? Now that I think of it, possibly it's linked to it.
Yeah. So what is this recognition part, which what it does to you, your self-assurance?
So I just want to clarify one thing before I answer that question. Does recognition means I feel I'm not recognized otherwise, or is that something to do with those kind of things deep down? Is that what will it be if I acknowledge it? I mean,
whatever it means to you, whatever way you want to define recognition. We are talking of your definition of it. So yeah, let's start with that. What is your definition of recognition?
Yeah, probably recognition means I'm working towards brand awareness or self as a brand called you. So probably if I'm getting a recognition of HR Professional of the Year, somewhere I create a brand where across anybody thinks of HR, they probably also know among the millions of HRs in the country, Nandini Vijayasima is one of them. So probably that's recognition for me. Okay. So if you want to reach out to somebody, you have that lady who you can reach out to for HR advisor.
I see. So you have to be known as a brand amongst the community so that people recognize you, right? That's what recognition means. And if I may guess, I think the award is one step towards that building that brand.
I would say yes. Yes. You carry somebody every time you register for something in HR, they always ask you, what are you associated with? Which society or group that you're associated with? Probably this is my kind of association where it says, I'm a brand because I've been recognized this way.
Right. Are there other ways to build a brand or be a brand? Do you know some people whom you see as brand? So what are the various ways you consider them as like whatever you mean by brand?
So when it comes to the industry I work in the pharma industry.
Mhm.
One name everybody talk about as a woman who is in pharma is Kiran Majumdar Shah.
Right.
So I wouldn't probably want to grow to that level, but at least in the circles that I work in, people would want to say HR means yes, Nandini Vijayasima is there, she's done a good job and we know what she does. So probably something like that.
Right.
When you have community, you have a name, and generally people link one name to that. So probably I would think of it that way.
Right. Yeah. Good.
I do have a lot of presence on LinkedIn and Facebook and social media generally. So
Right.
how do I make my presence felt to the communities the way I want to look at it?
Right. So we are exploring that what brand means is something like Kiran Majumdar, whatever, we don't care about, but
Yeah.
in terms of
I was just an example. Yeah.
Example, as an example, that is the brand. What is mean to you?
Absolutely.
So it's a being that kind of brand. As you said, the award, winning the HR of the Year award is one way.
Yes.
What are the other ways? So keeping that Kiran Majumdar as an example, what are other things or additional things or different things you can do to how has she built the brand?
For her, this is where I'm stuck. I don't know what to do further. How am I supposed to get that award? So I don't want to pay money to get it for sure. So it has to come to me as a recognition. So what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. So I'm looking for, if your goal is to build a brand, and award is a means, but you have to confirm this to me because I am just putting whatever you said into words. So if building a brand is your ultimate goal,
okay,
and achieving a award is one step on the way.
Right.
Is that right to say?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So to achieve that one step, what am I supposed to do is my quandary.
Yeah. So we can work on that. But I would like to explore also that if ultimate goal is to build a brand.
Right.
So where are you in the brand sense? Like, again, I will put my scale again 1 to 10. If Kiran Majumdar is on 10, in her field, of course, in your field, maybe whatever. But so where are you?
I would still say around 4 or 5 because I have quite a huge network of HR professionals.
Yeah.
And they still reach out to me if they have any advice or anything that they want to talk about HR. They still reach out to me. So I think somewhere I'm on 4 or 5 already.
Yeah.
So like you said, if 4 is good, I'm happy I'm at least at 4 or 5.
Right. Congratulations. I know 4 and 5 is not mean achievement. Okay. So let's start with a, so I want to now confirm with you, do you want to work towards building your brand in which achieving an award is a step, or you want to make only achieving the award as a goal and work towards it? So which one you will pick up?
I think building a brand is an ongoing process. It doesn't have end in itself. So I think my first goal towards going there, probably that might take a longer time, is getting an award for myself. That is for my personal satisfaction and for various other things that I'm looking at getting an award for myself.
Okay, fine. So I think you are very, very particular that this is one of the steps towards building your brand.
That's right.
Right. Wonderful. So as you said, in terms of your plan towards achieving that award, you are also about 5. You are at 5.
Yeah.
You said
yes.
In terms of building your plan, and this is what we want to build. And you said you have done quite a lot of work. You have attended various webinars, following various people, LinkedIn, and so on. So that's what has taken you to 5.
Absolutely.
So let's see what will take you to 6.
Like I said, I'm stuck. I don't know what else to do.
What is a small step? So if you consider yourself and you are in the industry, who would you consider at 6?
To be honest, I'm not in touch with many of HRs from my industry. So the HRs that I'm with, in contact with, is across all sectors, and there's not one known person whom I know from my industry. So
Yeah,
I'm
doesn't
again stuck
matter.
there.
Maybe pick up an example of whomever, even if it is different industry, who is slightly ahead of you, who is on 6, for example.
So probably I would I wouldn't want to name the person, but there is this one person, my HR WhatsApp group. So he's like the go-to person for the latest technology of learning through gaming. So I guess anybody who has anything or any questions about learning, he's again ex-defense personnel. He's heading one of the companies as HR. So leading gaming technology company. So I think he would be my role model.
Yeah,
So how people,
immediate role model at least, yeah. So,
yes, that's right.
So let's see, what is that, you put him at least 6 or 7, whatever, ahead of you.
Yes, right.
So what is it in that person which is not there in you? What is one thing?
Good question. Probably the presence that person has. So it's like when he posts anything, sometimes I feel it's stupid, but people respond to it very fast. Versus anybody else posting a question, the response is quite late. So I would say his presence on any group.
His presence. And can you elaborate on what does it mean, the presence? So you told people respond, but something more than that.
So I don't know if you've heard this. You can hear a smile in a telephone voice. So it's like that. Some people have presence virtually. They don't have to be per se present anywhere, but you can hear that smile and their presence in the group. Like, I don't know how to explain further, but this is how I feel when I'm talking to that person.
Good. It's a good observation. I would again say appreciate you on that. You are very observant. You know, if you can observe that, as you say, smile on the chat, WhatsApp chat.
Yes, you can make out that people are frowning or are laughing when you're talking to them on WhatsApp or Facebook. So that's the kind of presence that person has.
So good. So I think you are very, very observant. So I think somewhere you know what it takes to bring. Otherwise, you'll not be able to notice that, right? So you know what it means to have that presence, and perhaps you feel that you are not there yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So
thank you.
What is something which you can? So what is stopping you to between that presence and where you are today?
So sometimes probably I feel, that that me, I don't want to sound like somebody, but that stops me from saying out something which probably people might not like. I've tried to address this with a lot of my employees in meetings, saying that you need to speak out. So probably that stops me somewhere from speaking out in groups where real HR professionals are there, and I want to know what do they think of me. Probably it's an innate fear every one of us has. So probably that is something. So you said when we started this session, it needs a lot of guts to get coached in front of so many people who are here from international platforms. So I think I was trying to overcome that fear of mine when I said I really want to go get coached. And on the lighter side, who doesn't want to get coached free of cost? So this is where I stand.
Right, but I sense that there is much more than just getting a free coaching. I can sense in you, when you talked about fighting your obstacle of or having this going beyond your own mindset, that what people will say.
Yes.
So you have a desire.
Yes, I agree. This was a
So very good.
This was a huge battle within myself to say. To be very honest, I did think twice through the day, even today, to ping you and say, I don't think I want to do this. Pankaj, can you find someone to coach? But then, yes, I said, no, this is going to happen. This is the first step. I'm going to go out there and get coached and talk, and let's see what will happen. Because I don't know any of them out there, and somebody wants to scold, let them ping me and scold, I will take it. So I think that was some way to fight out my fear and say.
Wonderful. Take note of this courage. Perhaps this is what.
Yes, I will.
This is perhaps what, as you said, is stopping you to go to the next level of presence, at least. To be able to say what you are saying, as you say, the other person is able to do, but you are not able to do because you have a lot going in mind that what will people say?
Absolutely. I think it's also our upbringing from childhood. It
Right.
encourages you say, don't say whatever comes into your mind. Don't say. So it stops you in a way and say, should I say this? Shouldn't I say this? So I think as we grow professionally, we try to understand it's okay to say as long as you're saying it in the right way. And how people perceive is no longer your problem. That's something we learn the hard way. So I guess I'm also striving to slowly go there and understand that their perception is not my problem. What I'm saying, if I'm saying it the right way, people have to understand it has to come out.
Yeah. How strongly do you feel this?
Let me say 10.5 out of 10.
Ah, wonderful. Wonderful. So you had this in you. So I'm saying, why is it, what has to change so that this blockage, which you just mentioned, is removed?
I think somewhere I need to help myself get convinced on what I just said and really stop thinking on what other people think about what I feel and really give importance to what I feel too. So if I have to tell somebody this is what I feel about it, I need to learn to open up about it and say, look, this is what I feel about it and what I do professionally. Professionally, that is what I do as head of HR. So I think I need to start working on it personally too, which will help me grow. We think too many things sometimes about what somebody else is thinking. Should I say this? Should I say, by the time your life would have passed? So this is what I've learned.
Wonderful. Great. So what exactly will you do to do this, what you just described?
So the first thing I think I will do is reach out to the person whom I mentioned as a role model and try to understand what exactly does he do and how does he do what he does. Try to have a chat with him and see what is it that I would like to focus on or specialize as a HR professional and
What else?
To create a brand in that.
I lost a few words which you said. Can you just repeat? Because I don't know whether it's my internet connection or your internet connection.
So I was just saying I would reach out to the person whom I said I consider my professional role model and try to understand how is it that they're working on what they're working and see how I can work towards that. So that would be my first thing.
Okay.
And I would really try to understand how somebody gets HR Professional of the Year award. So let me start by doing some research there.
Okay. So reaching out to the person, when will you do it?
Probably sometime tomorrow or day after.
Okay.
Yeah, I am a little busy at work. Probably day after tomorrow, I would definitely want to do it. And I would like to know if that person is free enough to talk to me.
Right. So how committed are you to, how important is it for taking this step of reaching out to this person?
So yeah, it's very important for me to, it's been a long-term target for me to get that award for myself. So I think I would give it a 8.5 out of 10 to actually want to do it.
Okay. What will make it 10?
Actually doing it.
Yes. Okay, good. So day after tomorrow is the date.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, the other thing you said is try to understand more about what else is required to achieve this award. What exactly does that mean? What exactly would you do?
I don't know. I'm still stuck there. I would have to think about what else I would have to do.
How can you find out at least? No, I know you don't know right now, but what can you do to find that out?
So like I was saying, probably the best option would be to go find out who's been tweeting or posting the best posts on HR on LinkedIn and Twitter. So try and understand what is it that they are talking about and see how I can get there.
Okay. No, but in terms of what does it take to get that award? And you said you don't know what does it take, you know? So how will you find that out?
I think they were one of the few who got that award.
Okay.
I think they were one of the few who got that award actually. So go and check out their profiles and see what is it that they have done that I have not done. So let me see if I can start doing that.
Okay. And when will you do that?
I can do this right after the call or after the session.
Yes, that shows 10. 10 out of 10, because that is something that shows your eagerness towards your goal. So wonderful. I think we are about the end of the time. So I would like you to summarize what value do you get? What do you feel about the session? And if any, what value do you get from this session?
So first of all, thanks Pankaj for talking to me this 20 minutes. And I think these ideas were already within me. So you just brought them out and made me think about it and encouraged me to actually want to act on it. So I think this is what the session gave me to take back, that I will go and do something about what I've been thinking for 2 years.
Okay, wonderful. And I wish you all the best. And I would like to see you winning that award in 2020, whenever
sure,
by this
year. I'm hoping the same.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the session.
Thank you again.
I'll keep you posted. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Now, bye. We can hand over to Rashmi.
Oh my God. First of all, Nandini, authenticity is all about vulnerability, transparency, and integrity, and you were all of it. Thank you so much for being you all through the session. Thank you very much, and all the best on your journey for the award.
Thank you, Rashmi. Yeah. Thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Our pleasure completely. And Pankaj, awesome. Like always, one of the real good business coaches that you are. And joining, before we have the next panelist joining in, we have a poll question. You saw a live coaching session. What all did you notice about coaching skills? Here, the assessment is not of the client or the coachee, but it is of the coach. So you can see the question up there. What appealed to you most in this live coaching experience? The power of listening, focus on emotions and expression of feelings, thought-provoking questions, trust between the coach and client, new insights to the client. You can take your time, few seconds, answer, and then submit the poll. We'll come back with the answer. Okay, Sridhar. There is one which says, Sridhar says your poll 2 should have had all of the above also as an option. Then it's an easier option. Everyone would have clicked that. You're learning, so we're making it difficult for you. At least 2. Well, as of now, if you get 1 or 2, you're observing. That's the best part of it, because this entire session 1 was awareness of coaching. And many a time as coaches, we also need to completely unlearn to relearn, because every coach has a style they bring into the room, the space, and how beautifully they take over. So the conversation takes over the space. And that is what is beautiful. So the more we learn, the better for us. So the unlearning and the relearning. Yes, there you go. Thought-provoking questions, 53%. And then next we have power of listening with 16. Focus on emotions and expression of feeling, 6%. Trust between the coach and the client, 18%. New insights to the client, 6%. Thank you so much for the poll. Now, this was what all of you saw, most of you pointed out, and thank you for the feedback as well. Joining us on this panel now, we have Mr. P.K. Narayanan, PK for all of us, a CEO coach who helps CEOs, business leaders grow their business faster, position their businesses for long-term success, and create a positive impact for themselves, their people, and society at large. PK enjoys coaching and travel. And PK, if you haven't gone to his Facebook page, you're missing out something, because PK's travel page on Facebook, Touring with PK, has a large fan following. The Mansarovar one is my favorite. So PK, handing it over to you now for the debrief.
Thank you, Rashmi. And it's wonderful to be here. Thank you all the participants. Pankaj, what a session it was. And thank you, Nandini. As participants have identified, a massive 53% going with thought-provoking questions, which is one of the key competencies that ICF coaching competencies consist of. If you were to really look at some of the nuances that we saw in the coaching, first of all, we would have caught about the confidentiality part that wonderfully Pankaj managed. And also reassuring the client that in spite of being 350 plus people in the call, just to assure her that he is there for him. And some of you have highlighted coaching presence in the chat as well. Then you saw him creating some rapport by asking a question like, how is the day? And so rapport building and trust building is one of the key aspects of ICF core competencies, and you saw that in full flow today. And most importantly, the coaching agreement, as we call it technically, but objective clarification. So we saw that going a little bit deeper into the session. Initially, the objective was, though, it was to look at how to win the award. In between, we saw that having slight clarification onto whether to build a brand, and then winning the award is one step in that. So in coaching conversations, it's extremely important to identify, clarify, re-clarify the coaching objective. And we heard today Pankaj doing it with a lot of ease. And why is it important? And you heard Pankaj, the coach, asking few times, why is it important for you? Why is it important for you? A couple of times at least. This is to explore the who part of it. We are, human beings, and we have, quite a bit of balance between our intellectual capabilities as well as the emotional and energy that we bring into our action. So the who part of it is very important in coaching, and people will be motivated to do, people will be committed to do things by emotional courage and attending to the who part of it rather than the what part of it, which is how to get it done. So both are important: how to get it done, what to get it done, and why is it important for me is extremely important. So coaching is a journey where one really explores why is it important for me at this moment in time. So which we saw beautifully happening today. And then getting the clarification, another very good coaching presence that that the coach showed today was asking the coachee what you mean by self-assurance, what you mean by recognition. So the English words, though we may have a tendency to understand it the way we understand it, in coaching, actually, coaches go an extra mile to understand what it means to the coachee. So we saw that coming through a few times in today's conversation. And coaching always is about active listening and listening to what is being said, and more importantly, what is being unsaid. So that made coach to ask few times what else, and those sort of clarificatory questions, and what more, what else. So this expands the horizon of the coachee at that moment in time. And we also saw a couple of times coach using a very simple tool of understanding where you are with your journey. So we saw a coach using in a scale of 1 to 10 a couple of times in two different contexts beautifully. And therefore that was giving more clarity to the coachee as to what is being done, what is done already, and what needs to be done. So in terms of powerful questioning, and more than 53% of you also said thought-provoking questions. Powerful questioning is a hallmark of ICF coaching, and that is immensely impactful. And we also were able to see direct communication, which is another core competency today, even to the extent because the coach had already established the trust with the coachee. Even a question like, so if he has 6 and you have 5. What is missing in you? You know, so a very powerful direct communication there. So a coach is a peer in the journey. Coach-coachee relationship is a peer relationship. So like a friend, like a peer, a coach is capable of asking direct communication and the questioning, you know, which will come naturally through coaching presence rather. And we also saw coach appreciating the client few times. That is for what they are. And that was quite beautifully done by the coach today in terms of live coaching, what that we just saw. And the courage, you know, creating awareness is another coach core competency. Coach was able to take the coachee through creating that awareness that there is something stopping me, something that fear of failure or something is stopping me, and I need to overcome that. And there were few conversations, you know, pivoted around that fear and courage. How do I assume courage? And then beautifully the coach took them to the action, you know, designing action. So what is now? So what is that you want to do? And it was beautiful when the coachee it led to the coachee saying that, you know, I would go and find out what others, what they have done, what my role models have done, what earlier award winners have done. So it opened up a new possibility for the coachee to go and explore for herself when she was feeling stuck. And she in fact used the word, I am stuck. So the way the coach unlocked her and created the possibility of finding it out, and then took her through the planning and goal setting, and, you know, and then he wished her for achieving it. So designing actions and planning and goal setting, and, you know, fixing the accountability so that, you know, there is an action that's going to follow based on today's coaching conversation. So this was an amazing live coaching session, and you know, it was a big learning for me personally. And I thank Pankaj, Nandini, and now it is time, I think, to hear some success stories, and we have some videos from coachees who have undergone, you know, coaching with ICF coaches. So over to Nitin to have those success stories, Nitin.
Thanks, PK. In the interest of time, and I can see that participants are very eager to ask a lot of questions. So we will keep our success stories for later. You know, we can probably share the video online as well for people to watch them. But let us answer some of those questions and the goal setting process, PK, that you talked
about. Okay, sure. Thank you, Nitin. So we thought we would go through a goal setting exercise as part of today's session here, which is likely to take 4 to 5 minutes. So I would encourage all the participants to sit comfortably and close your eyes to avoid distractions. So please close your eyes. Please take a deep breath. And one more. And relax. Think of something that you wish to accomplish in the next 2 to 3 months' time. Think of something you want to achieve in the next 2 to 3 months' time. Be specific, a specific goal. See it clearly. See it being accomplished. Feel it being achieved. Think of something that you wish to accomplish in the next 2 to 3 years' time. You want to achieve in 2 to 3 years' time. Be specific. A special goal, a specific goal. Hold it in your mind. See it being accomplished. Feel the joy of achieving it. Think of something that you wish to accomplish in the next 10 to 15 years' time. A long-term goal that you want to achieve in next 10 to 15 years' time. Be specific. See it clearly. See the goal that encompasses more than just you, a goal that is expansive, that is inclusive. See it being accomplished. Feel the joy of achieving it. Feel the power of it. Feel the well-being that it spreads all around. Take a deep breath. Take one more deep breath. Relax. Relax. Please open your eyes. I encourage all of you to take forward your goals, and I wish you all success. Well, let us see how coaching skills can be useful for us in our day-to-day life. What we saw as coaching skills today and what ICF core competencies are. And it's not just useful for coaching and coachee, it's useful for every one of us in our daily life, in whichever role that we are in, whether I am a manager, a leader, a business owner, an IT engineer, a parent, a teacher. Coaching skills at one level are highest form of soft skills that brings out the best in others. For example, being present. In this highly distracted world, one of the key factors to create a positive impact is our ability to be present wherever we are. As Dan Sullivan once put it, wherever you are, make sure you are there. Coming to another key coaching skill, listening. A keen listener empowers the other, supports self-expression of the other, enables understanding of what is said and what is unsaid. Recently, one of my fellow coaches happened to meet the millennial daughter of his friend. They were meeting for the first time. And my fellow coach just turned his mobile into silent mode and kept his mobile upside down on the table. And they had a conversation, at the end of which the daughter appreciated him for the kind attention and listening that he provided her, and told him that it is for the first time in her life that someone listened to her like this. And also that it was a liberating experience for her. So friends, There are coaching skills that are so valuable to each one of us. Let us use them in our daily life and enrich our lives and of those around us. Welcome to Coaching World. If any of you have specific questions as to how you would like to apply coaching skills into your personal or professional daily life, please raise your hand and ask your question. Thank you, and I'm glad to invite my fellow coach Gauri Ramani for question and answer session. Thank you.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Sorry, audience would not be able to speak, but yes, we can definitely hear you.
Can you? Okay, great. All right, thank you, PK, for the excellent analysis and also the a little short intro to how coaching skills can be used in real life. So thank you for that, and thank you for the earlier participants also. Now what, I'll run through some of the questions. We have received some very interesting questions, but before that, I want to thank Pankaj and Nandini. There has been excellent feedback for their live coaching session. A lot of appreciation for Nandini to have the courage to come and be in the fishbowl, and also to Pankaj for also being in the fishbowl as a coach. So thank you very much, both of you. I will now run through the questions. So the first question is from a gentleman called Amondikar. So his question is, I'm a retired person, young at 65. How will coaching help me? I would direct this question. Let me start with MG.
I know why, Gauri, you did this to me.
Why was that?
Yeah, I think you are just indirectly telling the whole world how old I am. I am 64.
Now you told the world. Now go ahead and answer the question, please.
Amondika, great question. Now to think of it, birds of a feather flock together. I have been thinking about it. I became a coach only 4 years back, and when I was turned 60. Coaching, to be honest with you, it really doesn't have anything to do with age. If you really see, coaching is all about self-initiated, self-discovered solution options and forward-looking solution options at that. So at any given point of time in your life, you have every chance to benefit from coaching. If that can provoke you, that can jolt you out of your current blockages, current perspectives, and create a new world for you. As I was telling you in the beginning, it can change lives. So trust me, 65 is very young. Go ahead and indulge in coaching. Either become a coach or take coaching. It will reward you.
Thank you, MG, for that very interesting answer. Any other coach would like to add to that? PK or Pankaj or Vivek?
I'll just ask, when do you stop learning? Do you really stop learning? I think if you can find an answer to that, then you will find an answer to what is the right age for coaching. There's no right age. Like MG said, it is there. You can be coached anytime, provided you're willing to be coached. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. Moving on to the next question. So Rahul Kashyap asks, what exactly is the role of coach? If all the thinking and execution are exercised by the coachee, what is the role of a coach? So Pankaj, if you would like to take it first.
So as you saw in our coaching session, and this is true, what you have observed is very correct, that all the hard work, all the thinking, everything has to be done by the coachee. The coach can't do it for you. And even if it does, it will not be coaching and it will not help in long term. The role of the coach is to get it uncovered. See, you take any problem in your life or any blockage in your life where you are not able to move. Mostly the solution is inside you. you somehow are not able to move or see that blind spot. So coach help you to see this together with you. That is why coaching is seeing it together with the coach. And coach sees what the client um, like to see and what he is not able to see from that side. So coach and client are the same side looking together. So coach helps you to see something which you are not able to see on your own, to uncover something which you are not able to, which is inside you, but which you are not able to notice. So coach's role is that discovery.
Thank you, Pankaj, for the very interesting perspective. PK, would you like to add anything to that?
See, how many of us in our lives get an opportunity to bounce off all that we think or the doubts and the fears that we have? I work with a lot of CEOs and business owners, and they are pretty lonely at the top. And they don't have anyone to really bounce off what they consider very, very sensitive and very, that could be changing their course for their business. And being a coach is a blessing. We are absolutely non-judgmental. We are not sitting there and judging how much is his IQ or EQ or what is. So, it is a much privileged position to be in, and course correcting them, which is done by themselves. This is like firing some booster rockets. Once you are in an orbit and you want to shift the orbit to some other orbit, you need only small corrections and small boosters to be fired here and there. But you don't see, as Pankaj said, you don't see your blind spots. So a coach comes across as a peer. Again, I stress the peer, who is a co-traveler with you, which is a confidential journey and absolute confidentiality, trust, safety in between. And then that exploration is wonderful. It's a co-creation that happens. And it's wonderful, and results that are outcomes that are even not thought of emerges from such interactions. So that is where the coach adds value to the coaching.
Thank you, PK. And yes, being lonely at the top is one of the reasons I think a lot of senior leaders go for a coach to partner with them and be a sounding board. So thank you very much for that perspective. One other question from Mr. Shripad Sontake. What is the fine line between being encouraging and being judgmental? Who would like to take this first? Anybody?
Yeah, I'll go ahead with this. You see, judgmental basically means you're going with a lot of preconceived biases, notions that you have, and you transplant your world into the coach's world. That's not what a coach does. The coach encourages because he appreciates the coachee for being a human being. And a coachee also has his or her own ideas. Yes, during the process of coaching, we try to see if it can be done or it cannot be done, and that is how we ask them questions. So that is the difference. It is not, the coachee is already, has to be understood for what he or she is. Thank you.
Interesting. Vivek, MG, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I would put it this way. I mean, see, judgments all of us are going to make. Let's not pretend for one moment. See, even now as I speak, many of the people in the audience are judging me as to what is this fellow saying. It's a common and a human trait for all of us to be judgmental. That's wired in our system to protect ourselves. When an animal attacks us, we have to judge our distance, how to run away or to attack. It's a basic fundamental human nature to be judgmental in about whatever we do. But when we sit in front of the coachee, you need to only show him the mirror. You're behind the mirror. You have if you made a judgment here, that's not what the coachee is looking for. The coachee is looking to see inside himself or herself. That's where I would say that if you do feel like making a judgment internally, sometimes it may be even worthwhile telling the coach, hey, you know what? I'm feeling like this. Tell me where I could go wrong here. That'll be more authentic. But a coach tries not to be judgmental as much as possible, which itself is a great encouragement for the coachee, because the coachee develops trust and opens up and more listens to himself or herself. That's a process of going deep dive.
Thank you, MG. We have 1 more minute for the question and answer. So I will have the last question, which is coaching industry agnostic? Good question, right? So who would like to go first with this? PK, would you like to?
Yeah. So the question was, is the coaching industry agnostic? Was
Yes.
that the question? Yeah.
Yes, that's the question.
So, of course, in terms of business coaching, we are talking about industry agnostic or not. But coaching can, just to clarify, coaching can take many other shapes and shades and types, not just business coaching, as it is prevalent more than other kind of coaching. Having said that, is coaching industry agnostic? Yes. As a profession, as a skill set, as a skill, coaching is absolutely industry agnostic. Whether a successful coach will be industry agnostic, we have different multiple experiences around us. So some people who specialize in coaching certain kinds of businesses seem to be going more deeper into that kind of industry or business, and there is a possibility, or there is a tendency, there is a trend that they become the go-to coach in that segment. So it's our choice. As a coach, we can choose to be industry agnostic, or we can be industry specific. It is absolutely left to the coach.
Thank you, PK, for that excellent summary. I've run out of time. There is a whole lot of more questions, and we will see how we can get back to people, or people can reach out to them separately. I would now like to hand it back to Rashmi to close the session.
Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. That was a nice, very beautiful, beautifully put intelligence, wisdom points that you all gave us. I'm sure many more questions are up there, and you'll be seeing the slide of the ICF Management Committee, Bengaluru Chapter Management Committee details very soon. You can take a picture of it, get in touch with any one of them, and they would be able to help you with either specific questions or how to become a member of ICF Bengaluru or ICF chapters anywhere in India. And apart from that, we have a second session happening exactly 1 hour from now. Now, when questions were going on, what was happening in my head was that if you want answers, you have to ask the right question. And that's exactly what coaching is all about. Powerful questioning is deep listening and asking the right question to shift the client or the coachee, however you call. So there you have the details, the president, the secretary, vice president, and treasurer. You can make sure you can contact any one of them for details. And now that you're registered, you will get invites for the sessions that are going to happen, 2 sessions per day. That's 10 sessions over the next 1 week till the 10th. Make sure you are there, but don't worry if for some reason, due to bandwidth problem, you cannot get in on time. They're all recorded. The sessions are recorded and will be available on YouTube after the coaching week. Not immediately. After the coaching week, it will be available. But then
wait for a minute and give us the feedback as well. Sorry, Rashmi.
Yeah. No, we are not done. So don't worry, Nitin. I was waiting for you to come. So now we have the poll question, like always, a feedback on what exactly the session meant to you. So the feedback of coaching awareness and experience session, your rating, boring, neutral, excellent. I feel coaching can bring value to me. And what topics would you reach a coach for? Here you can pick as many as you can. Like you can see career, work, family, for my child, finance, business, health. Okay. So just go ahead and submit this poll. Few seconds for you. So we'll maintain silence so as you think and answer. And for those who have done polling, please make sure to come back 1 hour later. You'd be having the link with you. And we have a very distinguished panel, a very interesting panel discussion up. 6:30 to 8 is the time. And we have a few aha stories that will be shared as well. So make sure you're there for another beautiful session of day 1 of the International Coaching Week. This hosted by ICF Bengaluru. Thank you so much to each one of you who's taken time to be here. And we expect to see you at 6:30 sharp. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care.
I'm just waiting a couple of minutes, couple of seconds more to have inputs from everybody. And then
Yes. Thank you. Take care.
thank you
Oh,
all
there you
for
have.
sharing your feedback.
Yes, so for the benefit of everyone, thank you so much for the rating of 81% who think it's excellent, 18 neutral, and 1% who think it's boring. But thank you for that feedback as well. I feel coaching can bring value to me. Great value, say 60%. Good, say 37%. I don't know, say 4%. So you're in a good place. I don't know, because that's when the exploration starts. And what topic would you like? Career or work? Not surprising with the current scenario, 56%. Family relationships, 10%. For my child, 2%. Finance, 3%. Business, 26%. And health, 3%. Thanks a lot, everyone. See you at 6:30. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.